What is going on, everyone? Welcome into BP Insights. So I wanted to touch on this. I kind of had, if you follow my TikTok, I was all for, if whatever, however, good or bad looking you are approaching top quality women. I'm going to have to kind of retract from that a little bit. If you're like super out of shape, just a guy who lacks any sort of confidence, is not really building himself off at all, you probably should not approach attractive women. Because you got to think about this from an evolutionary perspective. Would attractive women want to mate with a fat dork? You got to think, why would she not want to date? Why would she not want to mate with a fat dork? Well, here's the reason why. Because the chance of them having a child who also is a fat dork and also is going to struggle in life is very high. So you got to look at that from an evolutionary perspective of why a attractive woman would not want to mate with a fat dork. So I kind of wanted just to clear up that. So if you're really at a low point, you're out of shape, you're struggling with confidence, you can't even hold a conversation with women, you probably just want to start at square one of working to get in shape, working to improve social skills, building charisma, building confidence. So that's where you would want to start first of all. So yeah, just wanted to touch on that. So we'll talk about, I've really been hammering this home on TikTok today. So we'll talk about looks and dating. And really the best way to describe looks is looks get you in the door. I was talking to some guys at the bar one night. They were tall dudes. This one guy was talking to a lot of people. Basically, I guess I'll kind of go with make a side note here. Guys that are tall, especially if they're tall and good looking, they've had good social feedback their whole life. You tell those are guys who they tend to be not really tryhards when they're talking to people. And they tend to not come across as tryhards. They carry themselves, with ease. They're laid back, and that really helps them get women. Because that's the thing. If a woman, when they approach women and they don't give off like the needy try-hardiness, that even attracts the women more, because then women can read guys who get attractive women. So when they don't come off across as try-hards, they can really tell that those men do have success with women. And then it's just that's the thing. It's almost like a domino effect, because tall attractive guy goes up to a girl. He's not needy. He's not aggressively hitting on her. Then she goes, tall, attractive, and he's not like hitting on me aggressively, and he's not acting needy. This guy must really get girls. Yes, I'd love to go on a date. But how looks are so important is, you can sell the girl right away. Like that's like, if you're a very good looking guy, a lot of times you can approach a girl and she's immediately sold. Like immediately, yes, I'm going to go on the date. And I've talked to some other girls. I work with girls at work, and I kind of like to pick their brains on stuff, about dating and stuff, because they're dealing with a lot of guys. They're talking to, every girl is talking to multiple guys at one time. And, one girl I had worked with said, they already know whether they're going to go on the date with you or not. So that's the thing. A girl can, like, I've had girls that have seem attracted to me, given me looks, and then gave me their number, and they just weren't, they didn't reply, were not down to meet up, not down to go on the date. But, I also had this girl that was, seemed super into me. But I think also you can kill attraction with being needy. And not that I was being overly needy via text, but I was just kind of like, how when you're talking to an attractive girl, you kind of forget, the abundance mindset goes out the window. All that sort of stuff kind of, gets forgotten about, how to not come across as desperate. A lot of that you just kind of forget about, and you just kind of, your OCD and you fixates on that girl and thinking about, kind of fantasizing going on dates and stuff. It is beta, but it does happen, and I fell into that trap, and I think it kind of pushed her away. She actually unfollowed me on Instagram after initially following me on Instagram, which is a good sign. If they do follow you on social media, because you got to think, if you're a guy and you initially are interested by a girl, you probably, do check out her social media, maybe not in a creepy way, but yeah, that's what girls, if they find you super attractive and are super interested, they will look at your social media. They will try to get kind of a grasp about what you're all about, as far as, what's your who your friends are, how many follows you have, do you get a lot of likes on your pictures, what kind of stuff do you post, do you actually have high quality pictures? So, a lot of guys harp on this, but Instagram is popular these days, and it is a way for girls to kind of filter guys. And that's the thing I'll never forget. I went and approached this one girl, attractive blonde, and I asked for her Instagram, and I asked for her number, and she texted me. She texted me back shortly after, but then she waited hours to reply, a negative sign. I mean, it's not always a negative sign, but usually a negative sign. And she asked, do I have Instagram? And I just said yes. Why? I knew that was a red flag, because, if a girl is super interested in you, she doesn't really need to know your Instagram. She'll text you back, make things easy. It'll kind of be a flow, and she'll meet up for the date. But long story short, she asked for the Instagram, and I just knew. I didn't even reply at that moment. I just knew that was a done deal. I knew it was over. It was just a kind of her way of, here's the thing. If what it means that they're somewhat attracted to you, but what it really means is, I don't find you like super physically attractive, and Darius M kind of hit on this too. What it means is I don't find you all that physically attractive. I find you somewhat attractive, but if I go on your Instagram and you have like a poppin' page of high quality pictures, a lot of followers, a lot of people giving you good feedback, then I'd probably give you a chance to go on a date. That's kind of what their thinking is when they ask for Instagram. They're not really all that sold on you. It's just that they want to, if your Instagram looks good, then they would give you a chance. But really, they just want to look for any sort of reasons to disqualify you. So, but yeah, it would work. So that's the thing. In that case, it would probably work if you did have a popping Instagram, but obviously that girl would not be a good long-term fit, because even if she went on the date with you, it still would be looking pretty glim as far as anything long term. Because if a girl's not, you can only, unless, see, that's where being the high, that's where looks, money, status, getting all that stuff on point helps you. Because you'll get kind of a lot of those, I call them 50-50 girls, meaning they're somewhat attracted to you, but if you have a little bit extra in the looks, money, status tank, then they will give you the date. That would be a case where, my looks, money, status were lacking enough from that point of view, where it was just not enough to overcome. But, those are the girls you kind of want to avoid if you're just, if you're working on yourself. You want to go for the girls that just are genuinely like you, genuinely attracted, genuinely very physically attracted to you, genuinely like your personality, your charisma, your sense of humor. Those are the type of girls you want to go for if you're not really all built up looks, money, status wise. So yeah, just wanted to touch on that. But yeah, I was talking today on TikTok about how it's important to really, what was I going to say? It's important to, get your looks on point, obviously, for a number of reasons. And, I was talking today about how, the best, one of the best ways to get other attractive women is to have attractive women around you. If you notice that, women sense guys who get girls, but women are also intrigued by men who are around attractive women. So if you're around attractive women, then, that is a really, an indicator that really creates that curiosity. It really, because you got to think about it. If a girl sees a guy around attractive women, then she immediately assumes that guy must be doing something right as far as his game, as far as his money, as far as that guy is doing something. He's a cool guy. He's not a creep. He's not gonna murder you. That guy is doing something right. that is causing those women to want to be around him. So study not only, I say to study, tall, attractive men who get women, but also study just average men who get women. That's why a lot of the dating coaches who are average looking probably are the most respected, because if you're an average looking guy and you're having success out, cold approaching, picking up women, and in the dating game, you really must be doing something well, because you're overcoming a lot of the factors and you're overcoming a lot of the initial things that women look for. Because that's the thing with women. That's why it's tough, if you're average height, average looking, if your looks are lacking in some way, because a lot of women, they do have, with all the options, a lot of them have that certain type in their head. So if you're not up to par in that sense, then a lot of them will just write you off right away. Like, that's what I talked about on TikTok. If you're a guy who's, if a woman, her preference is tall guys, if you're a guy who's 5'8", 5'9", you're probably just gonna be disqualified immediately. But if you're actually like a woman that actually doesn't, I think there's probably not a lot, but there's some. If you're actually a woman that actually doesn't prefer tall guys, then, if you're a tall guy, if you go up to that girl, she might disqualify you right away. Now, obviously, from evolution, women do prefer taller guys, but, that could be a case where it's kind of like a rare occurrence. But maybe that's not the best counterpoint. I guess probably the best counterpoint would be like, say you're a tall, muscular guy and a woman, and this girl kind of likes, taller, and this girl kind of likes skinnier guys that are, I guess they're lean, but they're not super, big, bulky, muscular. Because some women actually, and you go approach her, she might reject you if you're like a big, bulky, muscular guy. So yeah, I'm going to wrap with that. Thanks for tuning in to BP Insights. Stay tuned for more episodes and clips from the show.